Hello and welcome everybody who's tuning in to another web interview with the team. I'm Aurora Dawn Campbell and today I'm joined by Julie Kennedy. Hello, Julie.
Hello, Dawn. Lovely to be here.
Now you're normally on the other side of the desk, as it were, because Julie, although she's an accredited coach, she's actually our hostess with the mostess, does all our inspirational authors interviews and hosts our masterclasses, and International Coaching Week is a week-long CPD business building event. So that's a particularly busy week in Julie's calendar. But yeah, and of course you've got your own business as well, Hydrating the World, one drop at a time, as I like to say. So it's a water business. So yeah, these interviews are just very informal, just a little glimpse of the person behind the title on the web team page. So Julie, I like to start these sessions by just a transpersonal question, something along the lines of, outside of work, what makes your heart sing?
Ooh, traveling, number one, traveling and people. I always traveling people and words. So basically, I think in a dream world, I would have traveled the world interviewing people because I believe everyone has a story, which is probably why I enjoy my host role so much, because I meet the most fascinating people through what we do here. So yes, traveling, people, nature, dancing. Oh, it's so hard to choose. I'm one of those multi-passionate who find it very hard to have to choose it. But yes, it's the sense of adventure and connection and discovery that travel brings, I would say, is my biggest thing. And that's where all my income, let's say, goes. That's where my heart is. And I always try to travel somewhere every month, sometimes close by, sometimes further afield. But it's the meeting the people. It isn't just the visiting things. It's that sense of the freedom of moving and doing something different and breaking out of the everyday. I guess I'm not much of a routine person.
Yeah, that sounds a lovely, lovely lifestyle. Really well balanced, very nurturing. And I think it's very representational of why a lot of people come into coaching. They want
Very
freedom.
true. Very true. That is exactly how I came into coaching. Actually, I had been, so as a spouse of a diplomat, I'd each time worked in a different capacity, Cameroon, Uganda, Senegal, Berlin, etc. And when I arrived in Berlin, I thought, okay, now, I was a management consultant originally. What can I do where I can create value, where I can use the skills that I learned in corporate, but where I can also bring in the personal skills and 5 languages that I picked up along the way. And that's basically how somebody said, well, what about coaching? And I remember at first thinking coaching, football coach or tennis coach, I'm not really that good at stuff. And that's how I discovered coaching and this beautiful journey. We go way back, Dawn. I think it was 2007, actually.
Yeah. And talking about tennis and sports, you are quite sporty as well, aren't you?
I am. I'm one of those people blessed with a lot of energy, but the energy needs to also have an outlet. So yes, I do enjoy sports. I mean, I'm part of the fabulous After 50 tribe, as I call it on my podcast. But I enjoy keeping my body fit. It's just something that I do that I enjoy doing. So whether it's swimming or running, or I also like all the dancey classes more and more. I do like Latin dance and shabam and those sort of things. So with maybe less of a pushing, like I've got to do half marathons, I've got to train in a certain way, and more just the enjoyment of moving, of feeling your body. It also helps me stay in tune with myself. Yoga, Pilates are all very much part of my daily routine. Yes.
Yeah. And cycling, I think. Didn't you cycle around France
Yes,
last
we
year?
cycle a lot. We cycle a lot. Not yet quite around France. That's a good idea. Actually, I'll add that one to my list. But yes, I mean, I'm in Holland. So, of course, there are slightly less challenges than in some parts of the world. And we do like that. We do like going on these. They have this lovely organization where you actually can stay in people's garden houses, etc. And as long as you turn up by bike. So you can cycle all the way around Holland and you stay in actually pretty lovely houses, I must say. And these are people who just enjoy cycling too and open up their houses. And you pay a very modest amount for your own room and bathroom and a delicious breakfast. And so you can, yeah, there's no reason not to, apart from the cat. So I've got to get the cat used to wanting to travel on my back in a bag, and then maybe he can come too.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Because I love cycling, but it has to be flat for me. If I know you cycled in the south of France last year, and I thought, gosh, that is hilly. That for
It's
me
really,
is not fun. I love the
yeah.
dancing, the walking, the Nordic walking. I'm a Nordic walking instructor. I take groups out,
Oh,
but cycling on hills is just not for me. I don't do sweat. You know,
yeah, but the good thing is at our age, we don't have to, right? There are very many
no,
ways to stay fit and healthy and feel good. We don't have to do all those things that maybe at other moments in our life we felt we did have
no.
to.
Yeah, well, I'm considering an electric bike. I've come to that age, in my 60s. I'm thinking maybe now is the time to get an electric bike. And I did try one the other week, and it did go up the hill, and I thought, wow, this is
Yeah,
life
and at
change.
least you're outside and you are still cycling, right? So it's not as if
Yes,
you're on a motorbike, you are still cycling,
exactly.
you're outside. That's great all
Yeah,
these things exist for different phases, right?
definitely. So going back to your role as the hostess with the mostest, what are some of the things, the standout moments for you, would you say, in the last couple of years when you've been hosting our masterclasses?
Well, it's very hard to choose because I mean, it's for me, it's a wonderful opportunity. So as I say, I'm very intrigued by people and what they do, and I'm just genuinely curious. It's just who I am. But
Mhm.
also, when we're talking about, professional development, etc., I'm then forced, let's say, to listen to all these courses. And I
Yeah.
always take copious notes myself. And I just learn so much and have so many practical tools. And we do have an incredible array of people, very different in topics, in personalities, in presentation styles. So it's always new. What I like is it's always an adventure. I'm always intrigued and curious to who I'll be speaking to today and what nuggets of wisdom will they be sharing. I like the interaction with the audience as well. Some are more shy, about asking questions, some are more open. And it's the variety and the incredible value in all of these masterclasses and the authors' interviews as well. I also find for so many of us are still wishing to get that book out there. I'm like, well, I'm lucky to interview all these people on their tips and tricks in order to actually get, over the finishing line, the very few
Yes.
3%, right, who make it. Um,
Hmm.
so I mean, International Coaching Week, of course, is then, wow, it's sometimes 4 a day that I host. So it's a lot. I'm always glad. I always make sure to take a break in between, just so that I'm
Yes.
completely ready for the next one. But it's an exhilarating week, right? Which can totally
Mm.
change your business and your way of going about your coaching business. So I always look forward to that as well.
Mm. I mean, as you say, you take copious notes. I used to do
I
the
do.
role of the masterclass host, and it's sometimes difficult. And this is what I'm always talking to students and members about: is it's okay reading the book, it's okay attending the masterclass and taking notes, but you've got to take the action afterwards.
Exactly.
And it can be pretty overwhelming. And sometimes I wonder if one a week that we do is too much. And certainly
Sometimes I
International
believe so.
Coaching Week, yeah, International Coaching Week is 4 a day for 5 days. There is a lot. So on average, I think we do 60 a year. And that's because we're passionate about supporting people, because there was a gap in the market, Julie, where people were qualifying as great coaches, but they didn't have the business acumen to realize their dream, like
Right.
we. And so it's about how do we get the more experienced older generation, pay it forward and show
Yeah.
the new generation how they can do it. So I'm always saying to people that it's open to everybody. It's complimentary. It's not just our members. We've got TED talkers. We've got founders
Yeah.
of training providers. We've got um, uh, international best-selling authors, etc. So we are really incredibly
We
lucky, and it
are.
got to the stage where people were asking us to present rather than us looking, so originally we
Right.
were asking our members, and then we were asking for referrals. And now, we have a short list. We're booked normally nearly a year in advance with excellent speakers. So we can't fit in. We could easily, from a speaker's point of view, have more than one a week. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to create that balance between too much, that,
Yeah.
oh, there's another masterclass, I haven't got time. It's a bit like meditation. When people say, oh, I haven't got time for a half-hour meditation. Well, if you haven't got half an hour, you
Yeah.
need to meditate for an hour. If you haven't
Yeah.
got an hour for CPD a week, you need to spend
Yeah.
more time.
Well,
but
as
it
you
is
say,
a
the
tricky
importance
balance.
is the actually doing it, right? And so, I mean, I'm thinking, for International Coaching Week, I remember what I did last year is I made all my notes and then did nothing, didn't act
Mm.
on them, and
I've
just
done that as
committed
well.
to myself the week
Mm,
after that I would put at least two of the lessons learned from two
mm,
master classes into practice. And that's also self-discipline, isn't it?
mhm,
And what's interesting as well is, wherever you are on your journey, your coaching journey. So I since 2007, and for my case, you always learn something, you
yes.
always
Yeah.
do. And it really brings it layers it up, right? You get to have such a depth of knowledge. It adds on to what you've already learned, and it just yeah, it keeps us on our toes as well, and it keeps our brains thinking, and it enlarges our toolbox
Mhm.
considerably.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was writing to the training providers about this the other day. I've completed 2 decades, over 2 decades of coaching, and it's
Wow.
amazing in the last 6 years how the coaching profession seems to have evolved,
Right.
really matured. It's gone away
Yes.
from just pure coaching and sticking to the models of Oscar, Tigro, whatever, and how it really has now encompassed the mind, the body, the
Yeah.
spirit. And I think coaches are being encouraged to embody coaching as opposed to putting a coaching hat on at 2 o'clock for
Instead
a
of just
coaching
doing it,
session.
yeah, being it
Yes,
rather than just doing it. Right.
exactly. And also to treat it as a conversation as opposed to a session. It's a subtle difference. But if you're living it, then it's just another coaching conversation.
Yes.
So yeah, I think things have really changed for the better, and it's wonderful to be part of this mature profession.
I agree. I agree. What an
Mm.
industry. And thankfully we have this way to share it all in a very
Yes.
concrete and tangible way, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, well, I think that's all we've got time for. But as I say, these sessions really are just about putting the personality
That's
behind the
nice.
name. But of course, you get to meet so many people week in, week out. People probably feel that they know you very well. And it's that
Yeah, but
old
then I don't speak
80/20
that much,
rule.
right? That's the thing as a host, they don't know
Well,
much about me. Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And it's probably the old 80/20 rule as well, isn't it, Julie? You get 20% of regulars who are coming
Yes.
to everything. What we want to do is encourage the other 80% to take action because there is so much available, which is why we've introduced Joe, the orientation manager, into the team to explain to the
Okay.
members exactly what's available, where to find things, how to access it, how to navigate the website, because the benefits package, or as she calls them, the privileges, has become so huge.
Yeah.
And the master classes, are probably 50% of that package. So the work that you do is really, really incredible. And as you know, I'm on a mission to encourage everybody to write their book. So I'm always
Yes.
sending people to you to join the authors interview series. It doesn't have to be a bestseller. If you're passionate about writing a book,
Yeah.
then we have the book review club, and I know Julie would want to interview you for the series.
It was a
So lots
pleasure.
of opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for spending this valuable time with us and letting us get to know you and what you do to nurture yourself, the travel, the words, the people. It's integral to what you do. And of course, you have your own business, as I say, hydrating the world one drop at a time. So you're really embodying the whole coaching philosophy, aren't you?
Indeed, indeed. And the other part of my business, which is Be Heard, so it's helping people get their voice
Yes.
out there so that
Yeah.
people are heard, because yes, it would be a shame to not be heard, right? We're all here for a reason. We all have our unique
Yeah.
contribution to make, and that's where I help people get their message out there.
Yeah, that's lovely. Because I know some people say help you find your voice, but I don't agree with that. We've all got a voice.
We've all got a
It's,
voice.
yes, it's getting it out
It's,
there
it's
and
getting
being
the rest
heard.
out of the way. It's getting all the fears and the who am I and
Yeah,
who's listening to me. So it's
self-sabotage.
really pure coaching indeed. But it's
Yeah,
such a pleasure to do. And then I also do the actual, public speaking, coaching and that sort of thing, because that's
yeah,
part of who I am too. And isn't it wonderful when we come together as a holistic person with all the different strands under one roof? It's very fulfilling.
mm, mm. comes with wisdom and age, though, or you
It
like to
does a
think that
bit. It does
wisdom
a
comes
bit,
with
I must
age.
admit.
Yeah, so living the good life and loving the life we live. So,
We are like you.
all right. Well, yeah, exactly. We're both very, very fortunate, and we have a great deal of gratitude for it. I think that's also
We
quite
do.
important. We don't take it for
Key,
granted.
absolutely key. There is not a day that I don't say thank you for
Yeah.
whatever came my way, because you learn from everything, even the less
Yes.
positive things.
Yeah.
I
Well,
agree.
there's a lot of positive things going on at the moment. So
There
thank you,
are.
Julie. Thank
With
you for
pleasure, Dawn.
everything. All right. Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.